Hello, welcome back to Erica's Little Welsh Garden. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're a new subscriber here, you probably don't know, but I used to have 2 allotment plots. Back in 2018, I was given the opportunity to take over a vacant plot next door but one to my current allotment, which you've probably seen in quite a few videos. I had that plot for a couple of years, but this time last year I decided to give it up. One of the main reasons for giving it up was that we had quite a big waiting list. Throughout lockdown, a lot of people found their gardens and found that they really wanted to get out and do some gardening. So we had about 7 people on the waiting list and I was really struggling with it. When I took that plot on in 2018, I already had my current allotment, which was in a really good place. It had always been well cultivated, but when I took my first allotment on, it was covered in plastic. So it had been kind of kept fallow for a couple of years, but there were no weeds on it because it had been covered in plastic. However, with the second plot that I took on, it wasn't covered and it was fairly weedy. So I thought I'll give it a go. I'm in a good place. I've got time to kind of devote to it. So in the first season, I think I just kind of dug over half of the plots and got things like cabbages in and some potatoes, and I had a few good harvests from it. But it wasn't long before the rains came in the summer, really nice weather, and it exploded with weeds. And I can remember doing a video actually talking about how it was like the worst allotment ever, and quite a few people at the time were telling me that it was a really bad state and I should be ashamed. But I thought I couldn't really do anything. It just exploded with weeds, so I tried to keep on top of it. But in 2019, I thought the only way I'm going to cope with this plot is to really turn it into a no-dig plot, put loads of cardboard down and compost on top. But I only put probably about ½ inch of compost over the top of the cardboard, so I didn't have a great growing season. And again, I just used like the cheap compost, and I'm known for being a bit of a cheapskate and then crying when it doesn't work out. But 2019 was okay. I managed to get the top half of the plot pretty much going okay, but then obviously we had lockdown late 2019, so the whole of 2020 was pretty much a disaster for the plot. It got quite overgrown again, nothing as bad as obviously when it exploded with weeds in its first season, but the couch grass at the bottom of the plot was just getting out of control, and I just realised that I didn't have the time to look after that allotment anymore. Especially when we had the lockdown, obviously I could only get to the plot maybe an hour a day, and I had to just look after my good plot really and carry on, watering everything there and stuff. So at the end of the day, my second plot was just too much. I couldn't cope with it and it just was getting out of control. And I really felt that obviously having a waiting list at the allotment meant I needed to give it to someone else. But today I have the one and only opportunity to show you what it looks like at the moment. So I'm going to stop talking and let's turn the camera around and go and have a look. So here is the plot now, and the reason that I did have the opportunity to show you what it looks like is because the previous tenants that took it on after me have decided to give it up. And as you can see, it's in a pretty bad state. And I think if we look back at the footage of when I gave the allotment up this time last year, it definitely has got a lot more overgrown. But this video isn't about people not looking after the allotment or anything like that. No hate towards them whatsoever, because they have a family, they're very busy, and this plot was really problematic to begin with, and that is one of the reasons that I gave it up. As you can see, there is just so much couch grass all over the place, and where I had a raised bed over there, it just seemed to just come out of there all the time, and as much as I dug it out, I couldn't keep it under control at all. But one of the kind of big changes they made was some raised beds down at the bottom, so they are pretty good, but that is where the couch grass was really rampant as well. And as you can see, there is a lot of couch grass in there, so that's not great at all. But then they've moved the damp proof membrane that I put down there up here, So this has been here all summer though. So to be honest, if we probably looked underneath here, it's probably looking pretty good. But I have actually tried to let this out already to the person that was next in the queue on the waiting list, but they've come down here and they've taken a look at it, and I think they have decided that they're not really going to be able to manage this. This needs somebody that can kind of work full-time on it for a couple of months, and that is not what they can do. So I will be contacting the next person in the queue to see if they want to take it on, but I wanted to show you really what it looked like now, and hopefully the next person that takes on this plot will be able to really get it managed. There is one thing apart from the couch grass that is doing really well on this allotment, and that is the wildlife pond. Now that wildlife pond was here when I took on the allotment, and the committee stated at the very start it needed to stay. But I was really happy having the wildlife pond here. I always got frog spawn every year, and lots of other beneficial insects use the pond to benefit themselves. So it was really great, and it's nice to see that it's still doing well here. There is a lot of kind of duckweed on the top, so it probably needs a little bit of a tidy up before the spring. But yes, that is the one success of this plot. And if you're watching this video now and you're feeling like your plot is looking like this, or you've had allotments like this in the past that you've maybe given up, please don't think that it's because you're a bad gardener, because it's not. Plots like these are, you know, up and down the country. Every single allotment society will have a plot like this that is unmanageable and probably has a high turnover of people on it. And you know, if you've had a plot like this, just don't feel bad, because I don't feel bad. I think when I gave this plot up, I had a couple of comments saying like, why did I even film the video saying I was giving it up, and I should be ashamed because it was disgusting and stuff like that. But I wasn't ashamed, you know, I was giving it up because I couldn't give it the time that it needed. And I'm really hoping that the next person that takes on the plot can manage it and tame it and get it under control. And maybe this time next year I can do another video or whatever and show you the progress that has been made. I really hope you've enjoyed watching today's video. I know it's not the standard video that I'd usually do, but a few of you had been asking what it looked like, and since it was vacant now and it's about to be relet, I thought this would be the only opportunity I'd get to show you what it looked like now. Hopefully the next person that takes it on can tame it, and maybe I can show you some pictures on social media later next year. So definitely watch this space. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified of all of my latest videos. As ever, YouTube have some videos up now on the screen that they think you'll like, so please go ahead and watch those. And I will also put some videos that I filmed from this allotment when I took it on down below in the description if you're interested in watching. Thank you very much. Bye.